It's
Yes.
unbelievable.
So, Aaron, you're back here now. You're doing a lot of things. One of the things you're doing is working with a group called Missouri Rising, which folks can find on Twitter at Missouri Rising. And it's an organization focused on promoting conservative issues and shaping the debate in Missouri. And I know one of your key points is the issue of Claire McCaskill really shouldn't be the senator to represent Missourians anymore because she hasn't stood with Missourians over the last few years. She did not support President Trump, who, as you pointed out, won this state by nearly 20 points. She voted against Neil Gorsuch. She voted against the tax cut. I really don't know where she is on the trade issue. Usually when she doesn't know what to do on something, you just don't hear anything from her. So, Aaron, I mean, I have to ask you, if you're a Democratic consultant, yeah, and I know she's extremely wily and one of the most cunning politicians we've ever seen in the state. What's her platform? How does what does she message to Missourians that she's with them on anything, on any issue?
Well, I think, and this is what I feel like that we've really seen kind of from, McCaskill in the past. And like you said, she's kind of wily. She's very savvy. And I think you have to respect that to a degree, but it's also very frustrating because it butts up against the truth, right? And so I think a lot of times what we see is that she takes on these issues and she kind of says what she thinks people want to hear. But the problem is she often contradicts herself.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And so one of the things that we always hear, she loves to come back and loves to say, hey, I'm from rural Missouri and I'm one of you and I understand the issues that you care about. But yet she goes and she also spends a lot of time. She spends her vacations with people like Chuck Schumer, and she goes out to Hollywood and raises millions of dollars.
She just had a huge fundraiser in Hollywood last week, right?
Yeah. So I think it's coming up actually maybe next month. And
Okay.
President Obama is kind of the headliner. I mean, and these are people that absolutely do not share the same values that a lot of people in Missouri have. But one of the other lines we always hear is that she's from outstate Missouri. She really understands our issues, and that she's one of us, and I think that's that she has this bipartisan effort that she always seems to want to talk about. But when you look at the real issues that really make a difference, she's never voting on the side of that the majority of Missourians would support. So, like you pointed out, the tax cut is one. The confirmation of Judge Gorsuch is another one. But even if you look back to the last election cycle in 2012, I mean, for somebody who talks about that she's kind of likes to work in a bipartisan faction, remember, I mean, she wrote a book about it later,
Mm-hmm.
and then bragged in the book that they had spent $1.7 million to manipulate the Republican primary.
Yes.
That's not somebody. It's pretty hard to take somebody serious when that they're bipartisan and they want to work on issues with somebody from the other side when they're out there talking about spending $1.7 million to manipulate the primary process from your opposing party. So, and I don't know, Tim, if you ever, I've been asking some of the state legislators this, but did you ever have a phone call? Did she ever reach out to you on any kind of an issue to talk about what was going on in Missouri?
Never. Even when I was in leadership, she just didn't seem interested at all. She seemed very interested in Washington, D.C.
Mm-hmm. That's the same thing that I've heard is that a lot of people at the state level, now they know it, but they don't necessarily know that everyone else knows it. And so, like you said, that's what Missouri Rising Action and Missouri Rising are really kind of working on. Is we go through and we do a lot of research. And it's really kind of an accountability measure for us to go through and help remind voters. This is what Claire's saying now, and she's going to go out and and it's election year. So she's going to be spending a lot more time in the state of Missouri. But guess what? The last 5 years, what Claire has been doing and saying are not the same things that she's doing now.
Absolutely.
So that's what we really like to focus on is that accountability measure to say, don't forget. And so we've done a lot of research, like you said, and we go out there. If people want to visit MissouriRisingAction.org, we catalog a lot of the information there. Everything is documented, so it's really great, easy to share for people, if they want to do a little bit of research, like the viewers I'm sure that you have.
Yes.
It's a great resource to go and get some information.
Absolutely. Well, Aaron, I got to run. The time always goes too fast. Folks, go to MissouriRisingAction.org, at Missouri Rising on Twitter. Aaron, we're going to definitely have you back because this is going to be the biggest story in Missouri leading into the fall.
Awesome. Great. Thanks for having me, Tim.